or good afternoon or good evening, depending on wherever you are joining us from in the world today. Welcome to this month's community webinar. I am Trish Sanderson. I'm the head of community here at ClickUp, and I am thrilled to be back again for this exclusive online event. Today's session is called Thrive in 2025. And what that means is today's content was inspired by our rapid approach towards the end of the year. It's only 90 days away. I was thinking about this the other day and I was just like, whoa, it's time to get ready for what's ahead. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to just fall over the finish line or hobble into a new year. I want to approach with excitement, knowing that I've optimized efficiency and that I can build systems that will set both me and my teams up for success. So to help us prepare, we put together this content today. You're going to hear from 3 expert members of our verified community from around the world. They've prepared workflows that they have perfected, and they're sharing them with you today to help you thrive in 2025. So whether you have employee reviews coming up to prep or templates to create for scaling successful programs, we're going to cover it all. Speaking of goals and planning, you all here are a human embodiment of one of my biggest goals at ClickUp, and that is bringing together passionate individuals who want to boost their productivity in both their professional and personal lives. So I love to start out with a big shout out to all of you for joining us virtually. The chat looks like it's fire. So if you have not already, please comment there where you're from and how long you've been using ClickUp. And if you notice, there's some interactive buttons there. You can send emojis, you can send gifts, you can tell us everything. While you're there in the chat, don't miss the Q&A opportunity. The verified members whose content I'm featuring today and knowledgeable ClickUp team members are ready backstage to answer your questions live. So I know you'll love interacting with them while you watch. You can use emojis, like I said, GIFs. Go ahead, give it a try if you're not already. Looks really fun over there. I love that. I love that one. Thank you so much. And while you're doing that, I'll let you all know that, yes, this is being recorded for registered guests, and we'll send it out to you today with any links that are mentioned. So we're going to go ahead and get started. First up is the amazing Anna Bullock. She's the founder of her own consulting firm and a valued member of our verified community. Anna's going to guide us through conquering every what if in 2025, using particularly dynamic conditions. As you plan for next year, it's really crucial to prepare for unexpected situations that might disrupt your workflow. So Anna's going to share how to manage these what if scenarios using dynamic conditions in ClickUp. So get ready to take notes and be inspired by her insights. I'll also mention that Anna is over in the chat. So feel free to say hello to Anna and post some questions on her content. Let's check it out. Welcome, Anna.
Hi everyone, my name is Anna Bullock, and I'm excited to teach you how to conquer every what if as you get ready to thrive in 2025. We will be doing that using dynamic conditions in ClickUp. But before we define what those are, let's get to know each other a little bit better. Again, my name is Anna Bullock. I am very passionate about innovation and creating new things. That is what led me to be a ClickUp power user and now verified consultant as well. I've worked with hundreds of clients to build different customized online workspaces, and I've found that dynamic conditions are a great way to have a streamlined project setup as well as an adaptable workflow in a world that we have to be realistic in. So, what actually is a condition? Let's define that. It is a special reoccurring workflow that is not a part of your standard task list. So, on the left, you have a standard project with a base workflow. Think, what are the steps I do every single time I do a project? A lot of different things may go into different types of work, but that is our standard. On the right side, however, you see the same workflow with a couple of other different conditions. There's a purple rectangle, there's a white rectangle, we've got some sparkles. There's things going on here, and it's a little bit different than our standard project workflow. So, how does this work in ClickUp to manage projects? Our use case is going to be taking the common problem of having a super robust and awesome template in ClickUp and then setting it up and deleting half the things in it because they don't apply to that particular project. We're going to reverse engineer, and we're going to start with a very streamlined base workflow, as you saw in the diagram, and use dynamic conditions to add common add-ons or special circumstances along the way. This is also really great because if certain parts of the project aren't defined until later, you're able to add them on dynamically when the dates and the time are right. In this case, we will be a construction company building single family homes in Florida. A great use case for a condition for this company would be wetland permits because not every house is going to need one, but a lot of them might. It's a very unique thing. There's dates involved. We want to have a workflow for it, but we don't need it on every single project. As a reminder, if you are going to use dynamic conditions, it's really important that you take your existing project template if you have one, or if you are creating a new one, you keep this in mind. Make it simple, do our basic workflow, and then we can start adding conditions to those projects. In order to add conditions to those base projects, once they're set up, we'll need a central hub for all of our projects where we can add the conditions and track anything else we want to see. We'll need to define what are the workflows for these different conditions and then put them into the make.com blueprint so that those tasks can appear on the proper projects. Now we will get into the actual how of how to do that. In this example, Emily Johnson is our client. You'll see here she does not have much left on her home build. There is a final inspection that's listed as in progress, and we are pending her final move-in. Typically, a wetland permit isn't going to come in this late in the game, but for the case of this scenario, it is. The way that we need to set up a list in order to track this condition coming in for Emily is that we need a project hub, but ultimately is a list of everything you have going on, any high level items you'd like to track. In this case, they're tracking what level of construction status this project is at. And you need two special fields in order for this to be successful. So if I were starting a brand new project before I added any of my other special fields, I would add the first field that I need to set up is project list ID. So that tells where to go. This will be a text field. You'll see it already exists in my workspace. So instead we will just search for it. The next field is you want to have a button for conditions because every time there's a new condition, we need to add it. That will be a drop down because we want it to be single select. We will put condition or add condition. In this case, we're going to have wetland permit, and we'll just put other as our second option for now. In our more robust client projects list for this example, we have Emily Johnson. We're going to add a wetland permit for her. The way that our automation will know to look for her will be because the project list ID is here. Now, if you need to add a project list ID, it's very simple. You go to the list, you click these three dots, copy that link, and paste it right here in the field. You'll see it's a little bit longer than what I had. You just want to delete everything from li slash and before. Now we need an automation in ClickUp to connect to Make and our Make.com scenario. In order to connect to Make, we're going to need to call a webhook. The webhook can just receive all the information in a really clean format. You are going to add a new one. We will call this wetland permit. Keep it simple. And that's all you have to do in order to set it up. Then you're going to copy this address because we need to be able to reach out to this webhook. Back on our client projects board, we're going to use the magic of ClickUp automations, and it has 3 simple steps. When a custom field is changed, that will be our condition field, from blank to wetland permit, which we added earlier. Then we will set it back to blank and we will call a webhook, and then we just paste that URL. We also want to name this wetland permit webhook so that when we're looking through our automations after we've done maybe 7 or 8 conditions, we know which one is which. Now that it will call this, we're good to go. And we need to tell Make what kind of information it's going to get. So we are going to run this one time. We're going to add that wetland permit to Emily just to get that data going through the webhook. You just open this plus sign that says payload. You'll see it gives us task ID and a lot of other really helpful information about the task. Next, we want to get that task so we can pull relevant information and then create task on its project. So next we'll create one from ClickUp called Get a Task. Now Make knows what it's getting from the webhook, so we're able to pull this payload ID right here. We also want to make sure this runs properly. So as we're setting this up, we're going to run just this module. I'm going to copy the exact payload ID from our last one and paste it. And you'll see it gives us Emily Johnson. Then we need to create the wetland permits on Emily Johnson's project. So we're going to find Create a Task, Advanced. Now, before we go any further, it's really important that we say, what are the steps to a wetland permit? So So for wetland permit, we're going to make one main task, and you'll see there are 5 subtasks that are relevant to this. The first thing we need to do is say wetland permit, the list ID. If you search right here, rather than scrolling, project list ID, you'll see this field with a number that you should recognize. This field is going to become our new list ID for our task, and now it knows where to go. Another thing you can do that is very helpful in these conditions is to add dates. So on start date, I can just drag now. And then for due date, I find the add days function to be very helpful. If you're in event planning or a field that works backwards, you would still do add days as well. But where you're going to see me putting in positive numbers for dates after today, you would put a minus sign. So for example, I'm going to put 90 days. If you're in a field that is reverse, you would want to put minus 90 days. We're going to go OK here. Now, the nice fun part about this is now that we have our advanced task, we can clone this to create any subtask we need. You might start getting confused if you don't label these. So you may want to right click and put rename. I'm just going to call this subtask 1. It's going to be wetland delineation. And you can add 1 subtask, you can add 15, you can add as many as you like. The important thing is that the first one, you pull the task ID and you see that our created task is pulsing. That is the parent, and that will mean that this goes under our general wetland permit. We'll clone this again, and we're just going to do 2 of the subtasks for the purpose of this example, but you can add as many as you like. The next thing is going to be consultation. You just open this up, everything's already set for you. You just change the name. Now we are going to save our work, and we're going to see what happens when we add this for real. We're going to turn on this scenario. We're going to test it. We also want to name this wetland permit to make sure that we know what it is. We're going to go back to Emily Johnson, confirm that there's nothing on her project, and we're going to add our wetland permit for real. Now that we've turned this condition, we're going to hit plus. We know from our ClickUp automation that when this disappears, that means it's running. When we go back to make, we see it is in fact working. And what we need to do now is go to her project and see what appeared. We now have a wetland permit, and that wetland permit has 2 subtasks. If you were to go into Gantt view, you could even see the different subtasks and their dates. This is very helpful because if we scroll out by quarter, for example, if let's say the final inspection was earlier on, you may want to push that out. Essentially, this gives us the ability to play with our timeline and to visually see how these conditions affect everything else going on in the project. 3 important items for ClickUp: making sure you have a project list ID field in your project hub. Otherwise, we're not connecting our projects. Making sure that the hub does have a conditions drop down and that it is a drop down and not a multi-select. And then this automation that you will repeat for every single condition that you have for make.com. It's really important that we set up the webhook properly and copy the address as you see highlighted here. We next want to make sure that we use the get a task to read the custom field in a legible way. And then we also want to make sure that we're using the advanced version of create a task, and that if anything is a subtask, that we add parent task ID to that field. If you take nothing else away, remember to keep your main processes simple, add conditional dynamic tasks when you need them, and systemize that. If you can systemize that where you can, you will be thriving well before 2025. This is your final reminder to try dynamic conditions for your team. It is a great way to save time, streamline setup, and give yourself that scalability of process and conditions. You can get the full tutorial that goes a lot more in depth, as well as the blueprint for the make.com scenario, by scanning the QR code. Put in your data there and you'll be able to get the full tutorial. You'll also have a link to book a quick chat with me if you have any questions that weren't answered in this webinar. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Anna, for preparing that content for us. Definitely expert level stuff that could really set you up to thrive. So it's a nice time of the year to start thinking about if you can elevate your systems for next year. So I hope you'll be able to use Anna's awesome tips and tricks by using her template and her instructions that go into much more depth. You'll find that in the chat, and we'll also send it over to you after this webinar via emails. Always great to prepare for the unexpected and build a safety net into your system. So don't forget to check out that link when you have a minute. We're going to move on, and I'm going to introduce to you the remarkable Jackie Mislinski. She's the principal consultant at Productivity Nerd and a ClickUp verified member. Jackie is also an expert in ClickUp, but today she's going to share her expertise on goal setting with a presentation called Goal Setting on Almost Autopilot with ClickUp. She's going to take the next 10 minutes and guide us through the innovative 12-week year framework. Maybe some of you have heard of this before, showing you how you can effortlessly crush your goals using a powerful ClickUp template. She'll also share her asset at the end of the presentation. So take it in at a high level and then get ready to get into the details later on. Let's get ready to set some clear goals, create weekly action plans, track your progress, and stay accountable with a really powerful dynamic digital planner. Let's give a warm welcome to Jackie. She's also over in the chat and excited to talk to you there if you have any direct questions about her content that she's prepared. Here it is.
Thank you, Trish. Hey there, ClickUp community. First off, I want to say if anybody's got a solution for glare on glasses, please send me a message in the chat because I need a solution now. But my name is Jackie Mislinski. I am a recovering perfectionist, process junkie, and productivity nerd. And I bet I am in good company with all of you here. I was thrilled when Trish asked me to present today about annual planning because this is really timely for me. Earlier this year, I discovered the book The 12-Week Year by Brian Moran, and I spent about the last 6 months creating and refining a roadmap and workflow to execute this in ClickUp. So I've only got 10 minutes, so I'm going to try to move quickly and cover as much as I can. But here's what you can expect from today. I'm going to start with the challenges of traditional annual planning, what the hell the 12-week year plan is, how it works, and then walk you through the template that I've built in ClickUp. At the end of the presentation, I'll have a link for you to download the free template. And I'm going to start by being really corny. I apologize here. A lot of us are project managers, so we all know failing to plan is a plan to fail. So let's get started. First, start with the challenges of annual planning. Typically, we write down our goals or our OKRs, and then we throw them in a closet and forget about them. We'll write down high-level goals, but we won't include action items to actually get them done. And by July, the plan is totally out the window. We forgot about it, and it really didn't even exist. So here comes the 12-week year to save the day. So what is it? It's a different way to think about planning. So instead of planning in 12-month cycles, we're going to plan in 12-week cycles. So in this, 1 week equals a traditional month in a regular calendar year. We're going to tackle 1 or 2 of the highest priority items that are going to have the biggest impact in the business. So how does it work? First, you're going to start by writing down your vision because that's going to be your North Star for everything that comes after this. So now you're going to write down 4 to 8 goals that you want to achieve this year that align with that vision. Then we're going to prioritize those goals and assign them by quarter. So I recommend maximum 3, really no more than that. And then we're going to create a weekly action plan, which are step-by-step things that we can actually do to achieve that goal. So let's say our goal is to achieve $5 million in revenue. We actually need things that we can tick off to make sure that we make that happen. And then one of the most important things is going to be regularly reviewing your plan and then planning for the next cycle. So now that we've got an understanding of what it is and how it works, let's get into the ClickUp workflow. When you get into the template, it is a folder template. So there's 5 lists and 2 documents. First thing you're going to want to do is go to read this to get started. This explains the hierarchy, the statuses, the lists, the automations, the documents. And I've got a video here that I walked you through everything in depth. So I'm not going to be able to cover everything super detailed right now. I'm going to be as high level as possible. So in the folder, you've got these 5 lists. At the folder level, there is a roadmap that's going to show you all of your tasks that are your goals. And this is one of my favorites, the overview. If you've had a chance to play with this yet, it's kind of like a dashboard with some additional cool cards that you can have. So the main list that you're going to plan out of is the 2025 goals list. So to give you a really quick rundown here, the goals have a task type of goal. The action items to achieve the goal have a task type of key result. And there's automations to automatically set those when you create tasks and when you create subtasks. So if we collapse these, here we can see we've got 4 goals right now for the year, and some of them have, they all have subtasks. Our statuses are super simple: to do, in progress, at risk, overdue, on hold, done, and complete. And the 2 most important custom fields I want to show you is this quarter and timeline, because those are going to affect automations that I have set. And this is where you're really going to save time by using this. Oh, one thing I forgot. In the view here is regular old tasks. These are recurring tasks to do your weekly reviews and your 12-week year reviews. I like to do my weekly reviews on Friday. You can do them whenever you'd like. But according to the methodology, after week 12, you spend week 13 reviewing the 12-week year you currently completed and planning for the next one. So those are recurring tasks for you. So when you come back to your goals, you're going to write down or type out all of your goals. You're going to assign them a quarter. I consider my fiscal year February. You can consider it whatever you'd like. Assign them by quarter. Then you're going to want to make sure you come in and bulk select and assign all your subtasks that same quarter. And then when you do your planning, when you sit down with your 3 main goals for the 12 weeks, you're going to say, I want to complete these 2 on week 1, these on week 2, so on and so forth. So the automation is set for if the quarter is February to April and the timeline is set, it's going to automatically add that subtask to this list. So this whole list is going to be subtasks in multiple lists. So once you do all of your planning, this is where I work out of. I favorite this weekly plan list view, and I come in here, and this is really where I focus. So you bulk set all of your tasks and when you want to do them, and then you don't have to think about it. The less my brain has to work, the happier I am. So when I do my weekly planning on Friday, I'm going to come to this list and I'm going to say, okay, next week is week 2. So let me assign due dates. And when I say due dates, I mean DO, the day I want to do them, because this is not a hard deadline. This is an internal deadline. So I look at my calendar, what meetings, what other commitments I already have, and I schedule due dates. In my workspace, there's an automation to automatically put me as the assignee, but you can set up that automation for yourself. So I just work through this methodically every week, and I mark these off as to do, to done, to do, to done, to do, in progress, and done. So all of these lists are the same. Before this dashboard, I really, really like this because this is going to show you for your entire 12-week year the number of tasks that you've been assigned, the progress of them all, and then this weekly scorecard is key too. One of the foundations of this plan is keeping score, and they say to have an 85% or higher score to be successful. So this scorecard is the same battery chart, just by week. So how many tasks you've been assigned this week, how many you have completed, then you can fill out this scorecard. Again, more details about this in the video. But if we come back to the sidebar, I also included a document for how to conduct your weekly review and planning and then your 12-week year planning, because I didn't want to just leave you without knowing how to do that. So let's see if we go back here. Yep, I think that is everything. I wish I knew how much time this saved me, but what it really frees me up for is not necessarily time, but brain power. And it simplifies the planning process. So I actually want to achieve my goals. It's really exciting to go through the week and check off that you've done everything, see that scorecard, and my brain doesn't have to think that much. Ooh, speaking of not using my brain, I almost forgot something. I created a ClickUp Brain prompt to help you to generate subtasks or action items to help you achieve your goal if you're not exactly sure what you need to do. So let's take a look. So in the template, in the 12-week review and planning doc, there is a brain prompt. In this example, our goal is to launch a YouTube channel, but I might not know what I need to do to launch a YouTube channel. So create the task, and in the task description, write with AI, and you're going to paste this prompt and replace describe goal with what the goal title is. Then ClickUp Brain gave me this whole thing, which isn't really helpful to make subtasks. So if that happens, then copy and paste this prompt. And then that's going to give you something magical. So now ClickUp has given us 12 subtasks, 12 action items that we can use to achieve our goal. How cool is that? So I hope this motivated you to actually want to set goals next year and to be excited to achieve them. Again, my name is Jackie Mislinski, the productivity nerd. You can go get the template right there. I know you have your phone with you, so just go boop, scan the QR code. If you don't want to scan the QR code and you rather just have the URL, that is right there as well. And you can find me on LinkedIn and YouTube and my website. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope that with this you can be more productive. All right, Trish, thanks a lot.
Okay, Jackie, snaps from the chat. That was a fantastic walkthrough, and what a generous template. Thank you so much for sharing that with everybody here today. If you're looking for it, it's in the chat. It is also pinned to the top of the chat and will be sent to you via email as well. So we will get it to you so you can all plan ahead to thrive in 2025. And then also a quick note for anyone who has asked, yes, we are recording. We will send this out to you within a day or so with the links. So keep an eye out for that. We have some more things in store, and I cannot wait to dive into our next demo. I'm excited to introduce Helen Evans-Lemo. She's an instrumentation specialist. She's also super fun and a key member of our verified community, joining us all the way from Australia today. Helen's session is titled Automate to Thrive, Revolutionizing Calibration and Maintenance with ClickUp in 2025. This is a more technical one, but it's actually a really simple and elegant solution. She's going to dive into how automating calibration and maintenance schedules can streamline your workflows and boost operational efficiency. By harnessing ClickUp's robust task management and automation features, Helen's going to show us how teams can ensure timely maintenance and minimize downtime and stay competitive in a rapidly changing environment. Get ready to be inspired by Helen's insights and strategies. This one is about 5 minutes long, and then we have a session at the end that I'm really excited to surprise you with. Welcome, Helen.
G'day everybody. Well, if you're anything like I was about 2 years ago, that paperwork monster is really real for you right now. My name's Helen. I work for a company called Ego Pharmaceuticals in Melbourne, Australia. We make skincare for people with compromised skin. So today I'm going to talk to you about how we've created an annual calibration and maintenance task schedule for our laboratory instruments using ClickUp. So this is a step-by-step guide to creating your own schedule. I'll move through it pretty quickly, but hopefully I've set this up so that you guys can pause it and take a look at what I've built and maybe make your own. So the first thing to do is to create a folder. Now I've named this folder Annual List, and I've given it some statuses, which we'll talk about in a second. I've made it private so I can make some mistakes if I need to, and I've shared it just with myself. Next, my statuses, these are common to our team. You might need to use something different, but whatever you use, make sure that everybody understands what each of those statuses means while they're working on the work. The most important one is that you've got something enclosed. Next, we're going to create a second list. So we're going to call this Year 2. And when we're finished, we've got our private space with Year 1 and Year 2 ready to go. Next, we're going to create some templates. Here you can see we have 6. These are the tasks that we typically use within our calibration and maintenance schedule. You might need a few more, or you might have a few less. But whatever you do, you start by creating a task. Then you're going to have a look and see if there are any common items that the person that's completing the task will need to do, and you can create these as checklists. When we save the template, I like to put a little emoji before my task names. Just helps me to associate them with the tasks and the task types that I'm going to use. I typically keep my templates private, but that's up to you. And then I get to refine what I want to take with me when I'm saving the template and going to use it again. Again, this will change depending on your organization's needs. This is what I do. You might do something different. So now you've got your templates, you can start to build your schedule. So using the templates, we build our first task. Then we use the duplicate task and change the date settings to build a calibration interval for each of our instruments. Now, absolutely, you could build one task and use a reoccurring date setting to create the same effect, but we need to show a history of what we've done year on year. Okay, so this is where the automation magic happens. Yeah, I know. I'll zoom in. So when a task goes from any status into completed, and it's these task types, it will duplicate the task, it will change the start date and the due date by 365 days, change the status back to backlog, and move the task into the next year's list. Simple. So now we've created our schedule, we can begin to use it. The beautiful thing about this workflow is that all you need to do is do the work and close the task. Next year's schedule is already being created for you. If you've got a new instrument that you need to bring in, you've got the templates ready to go with all the checklists already made. So the information is always going to be the same for you. It's as simple as pressing 2 buttons. This allows us to plan ahead without cluttering our current workflow. The other beautiful thing about ClickUp is that everyone communicates on the same page. Here you can see our dashboard, which, as you know, is real time. It's customizable. We can filter and sort the information, and we can share it across different teams and different work sites. So thank you, everybody, for your time today. I hope this has been helpful. If you've got any questions, I'm happy to answer them. And if not, maybe I'll catch you on the Facebook page. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.
Thank you so much, Helen. That was just a really elegant and clean solution that I think all of us can apply across our own individual workflows. Helen purposely had this short and sweet, and we'll include it in the follow-up email so you can watch it again and see how you'd like to apply it to really set up yourself for success next year. And I want to close things out with a surprise for you today. We have about 10 minutes or so left in the call. So back by popular demand in a pop-up live segment, we're going to do it live right now. I'm calling this Help from Holly. I've got a ClickUp professional here, one of our solutions architects, our very own Holly Peck. Holly is a solution architect, as I said, here at ClickUp, and will help us with her tips on how to thrive in 2025. Come see me, Holly. How are you?
Howdy, howdy.
I know you agree with me when I believe that to be your most efficient and productive, you got to take care of yourself. You got to take care of your mind. You have to build your own roadmap. So I'm hoping you can show us how you would approach this topic as an internal ClickUp expert.
Yeah, it's actually kind of really cool because in the chat, I just want to know, like, is anybody else like planner season is your time of year? Like you live for all the planners, you live for the goal setting, the getting to set all this up. It's actually kind of like my favorite time.
Planner season, 100%.
Exactly. And so just taking a little bit of that time to be able to set those goals and to put that all together. I don't know about you, Trish, but do you ever kind of get a little bit like you think about when people talk about SMART goals and all that stuff, and you're just like, well, of course they're going to be SMART goals. Who's going to set dumb goals? I want to set good goals for my year.
Yes, so, exceptional is the name of the game. High performers, raise your hand, right?
Exactly. I feel like the chat is really feeling us. So today I want to show you all exactly what I did to really break that down to make SMART goals feel super real. And one of the things for y'all is I did put together a template of this entire process. So it will get dropped into the chat if you want to follow along, if you want to utilize this for planning those last 90 days, because while it does feel like January 1st is a really magical day and a magical time of year, today we're setting the foundation for that success to practice the habits that you really want to achieve in 2025. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. That sounds good?
Yeah, take it over.
All righty, let us grab this. And we're going to start with this, looking at this goals brainstorm. So on my screen, one of the things that I did was say, how do I connect my goals with my values? A lot of times we kind of go for these basic goals like, I'm going to run a marathon. I'm going to achieve this, achieve that. And you're just like, hold on, let me sit with this. Let me say, how do I actually want to do this? How does this align with who I want to be, how I want to live my life? What are my goals? Do I want a promotion this upcoming year? Do I want to achieve these outcomes? And I'm working on my PMP right now, which is one of my 2024 goals. But one of the things that they've talked about is this concept of 5 whys. And anytime that you think of something, you're being like, well, why? Okay, so let's take an example from on the screen. I want to feel more physically healthy. Why do I want to feel more physically healthy? I want to have health to be able to take care of my daughter, to be able to have that quality time. As I continue to follow those whys, it really gets me to that core that's going to absolutely drive me every single day. And I saw someone in the chat, I'm not going to name names because it's probably all of us. How many of us have those half full planners? Guilty, there's a whole stack on my desk. Okay, Trish, you're feeling me too. So being able to get to that core of everything is saying, why do I want this? Why does this matter to me? How is this going to make an impact? But as I was thinking through this to finish out my last 90 days, which also, can anyone agree that it's really rude that October 1st to December 31st is 92 days, not 90? That's rude.
Yeah,
but it really hurt my heart as I put together the template. So, but it is a 90-day template. So basically, as I was going through it, it was like, okay, here's my big goals. Here's the things I want to do. How do I turn this into the goals? So again, going onto the screen, I want to feel more physically healthy. Duh, don't we all? So what do I have to do to feel more healthy? What do I have to do? Okay, I know that when I move every day, I'm going to feel more healthy. What amount of time does it take? So like, I'm looking at this, in order to achieve this, I need to do this thing. And then how can I turn that into a tangible action I can take? That moving 30 minutes or more each day. Taking those goals, making them small, making them bite-sized, achievable. If 30 minutes doesn't work for you, 10 is proven to make an impact. Journaling for my mental wellness, 1 page a day, a paragraph. Yesterday was a busy day. I only got half a page, but this really helped with being able to do that. All right, I'm going to stop talking about all this high level stuff because y'all are like, show us the template, y'all. This is a template. This page is included, but every single day, I want to be able to pull up this dashboard and say, all right, how am I doing and progressing toward my goals? This utilizes some of those new fun cards, by the way. Can anyone else really appreciate that the pie chart is now a donut chart? Also, you have that option in the settings to make it look cool like that. Why we had to stick with the food theme, I'll never know. But you know what? Pie, donuts, I think the donuts will win. I'm just saying that's my hot take of the day. But this right here, yeah, this ultimately ends up being my command center for being able to say, how am I progressing towards these few goals that I'm looking towards? I can say, all right, in these 92 days, your template is 90, but this will be able to say, I can break it down and say, okay, on these days I achieved this, and this is my percentage. This is how much of the proverbial race I still have to run or walk. If you're a walker like me, I ran a marathon. Let me tell you, I walked a good portion of it and I cried the entire last 5K. But you know what? They gave me a medal and I got to say I did it. It's how you finish. You finish. That's when you're getting those goals. But one of the things here too is that a lot of times when it comes to those goals, that all or nothing mentality, like if I don't get this one little thing done, I've ruined it. We've seen this a lot when people are doing diet plans, like, well, I caved and I had a chip, might as well eat the whole bag. We'll start again tomorrow. The day's ruined. One moment like there isn't going to ruin everything that you're working on. And I'm a giver, y'all. And so I decided that of my goals, I was going to mess up one day. I actually didn't plan it, but it just worked out. And so there are some automations that are built into this template, one critical automation actually. And let's dive in and see what happened with this one day where I didn't achieve, which was ironically day 1. That's always a great way to start out. Am I right? But life happens. So let me just scooch this over here so you can see it a little bit bigger. But this ClickBot automation says, hey, oh no, what happened? How can we mitigate this? And then just remember, achieving your goals is a result of daily consistency. It's not over here being like, you suck, you are the worst, you didn't get your goals done. It's being able to say, all right, it's okay. How can we mitigate? What are our learnings? And so with this, that is going to assign you that comment and just say, hey, how can we help? What can we learn? ClickUp has a core value of grow 1% every day. And taking advantage of those moments where maybe we feel a little bit like a failure is being able to say, how can I grow as a result? So right here, I'm looking at this. Okay, I was in office that day. There was a happy hour after work because we were celebrating chat launch. Shout out if you've had a chance to try it. I'm so excited for you if you're on the wait list. It is coming. And then I got home and my baby decided that she was going to be the Queen Snot Factory of the year. So a sick baby needed to be held. That's okay. That led to this moment right here. So what can I do to mitigate this? All right, I'm going to find a way to prioritize my movement early in the day instead of waiting until end of day. This is one of those great moments right here where you can just take a moment to say, okay, how can I learn and how can I grow? It's a very simple template, just so you can see a little bit behind the hood and the hierarchy right here, because no secrets. It's literally different lists for each of those goals that you have with 90 tasks. And every single day you have those tasks that you just mark off. I did it, I got it done, or you're reflecting on what happened. One thing I do want to draw your attention is that one of these cards on the dashboard is just an easy filter to be able to see your items for today. These are the things that I haven't done yet. So this ends up serving as your command center, if you will. I highly recommend just right click that little friend and you're going to add that to your favorites so it lives where you can quickly access it every single day. Anywho, we'll drop the link into the chat so that you're able to grab the template. And I really hope that this is one of those little ways that you're able to utilize this for your productivity in 2025. You know, it doesn't have to wait till January 1st. It can start today. And so I hope this ends up being helpful for you and enjoy the template. All right, Trish. Back to you.
Thank you, Holly. No, this is awesome. So many people in the chat are talking about how now ClickUp is our life coach too. It really is the everything app for work. There's been requests for if product can figure out a coffee machine and a burrito maker as well, like we're done, we're good. ClickUp for everything. If it could make a drink at the end of the day, now we're really cooking. So I'll be sure Zeb gets all of that feedback. And I want to thank you so much for sharing with us your goals and a little bit about your life. And I hope that we can have a Help with Holly session back for future webinars as well. Thank you so much. That's all the time we have for today. I really want to bring everyone from backstage out. Just to let you know, like it takes a village. So we have the entire group of folks who presented today and built content for us. We've got my teammates, Lucy and Sydney, who answered so many of your questions. So if you all want to hit that on stage button, you can come and wave with me. A little virtual cheers to productivity. If you've got a coffee or a beverage, cheers from afar. And as I always say, ClickUp has the best community in SaaS. And I really believe you can all meet your goals for this year and be ready to like run excitedly into the next. Thanks for being here. Cheers to productivity, everyone. Have a good rest of your week.